All right, my friends, we are back with Dwarf Fortress Explained Poorly. I finally got a siege. We're going to talk about that. I'm going to do like a live play-by-play. So this is Goblin Macemen. They brought one construction troll and one digging, like tunneling troll. And we ended up actually killing the tunneling troll a little early, so we ended up slaughtering them all. You're going to see bolt throwers in action. You're going to see some really good combat. So basically, they ended up bringing like 50 people. We have like 150 dwarves. A lot of them are kids, but a lot of them are warriors who are ready. So we end up challenging them as they pour in. I'm selecting them as they come in. I thought it was just a siege of 15. I was like, oh, that's pretty small. That's like a raid. A commenter left me this advice. They mentioned that in the siege update, you can actually set your siege the same way that economy or anything else is set. You know, migrants are set. You can say like, I want this much or this little. And so I ended up setting it to like, siege me now, me siege, needing a lot, siege me. And so they ended up doing that at the end of the next season. I got 55 goblins, and they brought trolls, and they brought these like cave crawlers, which are cool. Like, I guess their version of like dogs or like these four-legged creepy humanoids. But so what we ended up doing is we fire on them with the bolt throwers that I showed in the last video. And then we kind of confront them in battle. And I'll just be giving you a play-by-play. I'll tell you about everything that I learned. Somebody else left me in a comment. They said something about... last video somebody asked me, do the bolt throwers, can they shoot up and down Z levels? And I said, I don't know. I heard in this interview that they shoot in a cone. I'm very happy to announce, to confirm, that the bolt throwers can shoot down from towers. The dwarves do aim it in a cone, which includes up and down Z levels. So we have a couple towers, and we shoot down at them. That actually really thinned them out. I will say, so they updated the siege AI quite a bit, but you'll see as this continues that, at least in my case, the initial AI seems to not be that smart. So they've added things where, like, the siege will avoid areas if it's dangerous. They'll change tactics, but you'll see that the initial tactic seems to be just, as you see here, just like they swarm. They slowly swarm in from where they entered. They move slowly towards this bridge. I was going to do 2 runs with this siege. One where I just confront them, and one where I cloister and let them do their thing. But you'll see in this footage, they only brought one mining troll, and we end up killing that pretty early. So I realized they're not going to actually dig in. They have a construction troll, but as I was watching him, he just is kind of like hauling a block of siltstone or something. He's just kind of hauling that around in a circle. He wasn't actually building anything. Okay, so you'll see here in this footage, you see now like a flurry just, raining down bolts. Those are the bolt throwers from a nearby tower. And you see the goblins are dropping. I think I'm pointing out the bolt thrower right here. And so, yeah, that's a really good shot. Like it's aiming down and diagonally. But it's killing, it's clearing goblins. So another interesting thing about this fortress is I settled so closely to... Oh, so here's another thing. All right, sorry, I'm doing real-time play-by-play. So they're still getting bolt thrower mangled, but the raiders will actually break everything on the surface. So what I ended up doing was I attack them, I kill half of them, and then I have all my dwarves fall back into the fortress to see what they would do, but it turns out they just kind of meander around and break all my workshops. So I was like, all right, you know what? I don't need more broken workshops. So I brought the dwarves back out, and we finished them up. You'll see this by the end of the footage. This is the whole footage of the siege. It took about 15 minutes. And I turned off cheats. I turned fast dwarf off. I think that footage already passed, but like I make it a fair fight, but we end up winning because we outnumbered them 3-1, and we have siege defenses. But so you see, there's a lot of blood now. All the goblins are getting dropped, but there are still 44 invaders. So we have a few choke points along the waterway with cage traps and things. I think by the end of this, we have a few captured. So you see, it's just madness. A few dwarves are now running in kind of early because I just sent all my squads, and I didn't really, what was the word? I didn't really man or like stage them. So like some dwarves will be ready earlier. They'll already have a sword, so they'll just run straight at the goblins and get ganked. But we only lose like 10, maybe 20 warriors to their 50, so we did pretty good. And again, this is with cheats turned off, so they're not moving any faster unduly. If you look there, you see there's like these little monkey creature icons, and those are the like dogs of war that they brought. They're actually humanoid. And then they're siege kind of disruptors. Yeah, they're called like Monera creatures. Creepy portrait art. I really like that, though. But so we end up, yeah, just pushing them out. My settings are such that they're going to try to siege immediately again, so I'll be in touch with that one. You know, we'll just keep sieging until the fortress is destroyed, because that's what's fun. But, so, yeah, the bolt throwers worked as planned, and then at some point we pulled back because I wanted to see what they were capable of doing, but they only brought one guy for destroying and one guy for building. And the guy for destroying got killed really quickly. The guy for building didn't seem to be very creative, didn't really seem to be figuring out the pathing that would be effective. The other thing is, at the end, there's only 4 left. At the very end, there's only 4 goblins left. And it turns out that they're all manning like a battering ram, like a siege, you know, like bust down doors. But they were really slow. I guess it's heavy, and they were struggling to carry it. So we end up just mopping those guys up as well. So now, if we're looking... This is just me selecting, trying to get everybody, trying to confirm that my squad should attack everybody on the playing field. Because if you don't select all of them, you can see here there's a troll that's not selected. Your warriors will walk right past him, and then they can get beat up from behind by the creature that's not being targeted. You'll see here as well that a moody dwarf, a legendary item creating dwarf, is trying to do his thing, but he's failing, which makes sense because it's a siege. Oh, so this is something that I might recommend. If you're having trouble targeting everybody, you can see all my dwarves are ganging up on a goblin there, or they're killing these Mineras at there. But if you want to just have like all of your armed dwarves like patrolling the area, because the AI so far, it seems like, you know, it's not as smart as I thought. I imagine they would march in, they would like choose paths, kind of like demons, where they have a beeline that they're focused on. But these guys tend to kind of like swarm like gnats. They just kind of like orbit each other, stay together, and kind of wander towards your fortress. But so if you just build a triangle patrol for your squads, they will be ready to fight in that triangle. And then if that triangle intersects the swarm of gnats that is the siegers, then it'll just be, you know, total melee. So at this point, I'm calling all the dwarves back to the burrow. I was thinking maybe we could let the siege, you know, figure things out upstairs and do something interesting. They ended up not. Next time I will make sure not to kill their trolls too quickly to see what they can really do in terms of like messing up my fortress. But in this case, I pull all my dwarves down just to see what would happen, and it turns out that they just raid my surface stockpiles and destroy everything on the surface, which makes sense. I mean, I left that stuff up there, so that makes sense. We're at 33 invaders now, so like about halfway done. But they're still, you see, they're just kind of milling around. My dwarves are encountering them and then kind of like globbing up on them and then killing them. I did a pretty good job training. You know, if you do fast dwarf, then they train faster, so they get skilled faster. But in this combat, they're not sped up at all. But that high-speed training has paid off. They all know what they're doing. Like I said, I lose about 20 combat dwarves, which is not too bad because this is a metropolis of about 160. Sorry, that's cut off the top. I cut off the top and bottom by mistake. But you'll see that now all my dwarves are cloistering below ground. Above ground is now, you know, streaked with blood and vomit from all the terrible. Oh yeah, so I'm marking fast dwarf for stage 2. Sorry, I tried to cut out all the save games. Because it's boring, you know, it freezes for a second while it saves, but I missed this one. It's a good reminder to like and subscribe, leave a comment. It really helps the channel. I'm trying to grow this channel. Since we're stuck saving, may as well mention that. I respond to every comment as much as possible, so yeah, write me something. It's also really good, you know, people correct me in the comments, and I try to pin that or like engage that, because this is Dwarf Fortress Explained Poorly, so I am always rambling, and it doesn't always make perfect, accurate sense. But anyway, so this is the cloister. We're getting dwarves down. I enabled fast dwarf temporarily just to get them down quicker because I wanted to see if the goblins would organize at all. They said that when the siege was announced that like one goblin was the leader, and then they had a basic kind of foot soldier, which they called goblin macemen. But so I'm wondering if you like kill the leader too early, maybe they wander around. Maybe that's why my guys were acting like gnats, you know, acting like fruit flies. Maybe the leader got killed quickly. So I don't know, I was too effective. I was ready with bolt throwers, and I was just, I killed a lot of them early. So that's my, if you're looking now, this is my airlock. So it's walls and doors, which I can prohibit. And then also you can see the entryway is all cage traps. So the idea being that if the siege actually tries to come in, they'll suffer losses and they'll really struggle to get in. It didn't turn out to be an issue because the siege did not really advance on my fortress as quickly as possible. They were just wrecking stuff upstairs, wandering around like you see. So I ended up getting kind of frustrated with that, and I send my guys back out. So that's that troll siege engineer. He can build things, but he's hauling a slate block in circles. So he's thinking about building something, but he doesn't know how to do it. And then, like I said, they brought one other troll that was specifically like a digging engineer, and we accidentally killed him too quickly. So we won't get to see how they eventually figure their stuff out and really organize, but that's okay. And again, so I'm doing this live, trying to keep it synced with the video, so I apologize if I take a breath or take a drink. But so now we're cloistered. In this situation, ideally with the siege update, you can see a lot of their guys are injured. I lost a baron, which who cares, nobles dying is actually good business in Dwarf Fortress. But so, this is a big metropolis. It's like 150 dwarves. Oh, I mentioned earlier, so I was trying to provoke a siege, so I settled right on the border of this goblin empire. But what's actually happened is now we have two outposts, two settlements around us that are goblin pits, and they're allied with us. We actually have a lot of like elven. This happens to me every once in a while, where if you settle on the border of a different empire, you'll get like a lot of elves and humans and goblins who want to be poets and dancers, and it becomes a very like cosmopolitan like art scene. So like this is kind of one of those. We're actually quite closely allied with the goblins, but because I changed the siege settings, which you can find in your settings under like enemy difficulty, that's been added in the siege update. You can change it so that even if it doesn't make sense, goblins are constantly attacking you. I figured that out thanks to a commenter who clued me into that. This is me turning Fast Dwarf back off so that it can be a fair fight, and I decide we're just going to mop them up. We have, it looks like 30 of the 55 invaders left. And yeah, we're just gonna... this is me watching one soldier who's like very slowly moving, and I even checked if she was injured, but she's not. I guess it's just what she's carrying is heavy. But yeah, this is me checking. And I don't know, maybe she has like a big heavy sword or shield. This fortress is actually good. We've been making a lot of steel, a lot of pig iron. There's like flux material, so it's not a problem. And yeah, we go up and clean them up. So we'll have another siege soon because of my settings, and this time I'll try to preserve their goblins and do like a long-term siege. It might not really work on this map because I have so much development above ground. So, you know what I can do is make like a walled city above ground. So the goblins, we can still maintain the surface while being cloistered. You'll see they have some good archers. They send like flurries of arrows, but it's not as good as those bolt throwers, which just, really like machine guns. And sorry if they're really like machine guns. I was going to say sorry if that burp showed up on the audio. I don't think I'm going to edit any of this because it needs to stay in sync. So I apologize in advance. But we're cleaning them up now. You see the blood and sick from wounded soldiers everywhere. And I did like a mix of, crossbow, dwarves, and, sword and shield. Oh, this is interesting. So the goblins, I don't know if they fled or if they were just pushed back, if maybe my dwarves know how to push things back, but I ended up like 5 of the last invaders were now down to 7, for example, all drowned in this little pond. I don't know if they got pushed back or whatever, but they all got pushed into deep water and drowned, so that works for me. And then we're now closing in on the point where we just target the guys who are like late to the game with a battering ram. Yeah, see, there's that lake where it's like... they all fell in somehow and drowned, which works for me. It's a lucky lake. It's like a Japanese original, the Kamikaze, where the Mongols came, but they were struggling with the water. So, yeah, I'm setting a new route. I'm just having my existing soldiers like patrol where the goblins might be, and then eventually we find. Imagine how badly that would suck if you. Bringing up the rear with a battering ram, and then everybody else is dead, and you just have to man this battering ram. But so we end up getting there, we clean them up, and yeah, next time I'm going to try to respect their trolls, because I want to see the way that they dig. I want to see the way that they mess up my fortress physically. We ended up not giving them that chance because we were just too ready with the bolt throwers. But yeah, I think that's all I have, basically. I said before, but feel free to like and subscribe. It really helps my channel. We're still working on getting monetized, and we're almost there. And yeah, I should, honestly, at this point, I might have weekly siege events. There you go. You see that battering ram? And I wasn't able to select it, so I don't know actually how it exists on the map, because I tried clicking like each of the 4 cells that it occupies, and I couldn't get an object for the battering ram, so I don't know if it's programmed in as like a magical spell or something else temporary. But the goblins, you can see, are stuck to it, and they're moving it very, very slowly. I guess they expected their guys to be covering their advance, but so we end up like just walking up and picking on them. And yeah, let me check, see how much I have left. It looks like we are coming in on the last 30 seconds or so. So I would just say thank you all for joining me. I will have more content for you soon. Leave it in the comments if I said anything wrong, or if you have any recommendations for next time. This was a pretty good siege. We didn't make use of the catapults. I did confirm that they do like basically launch explosive rounds. All right, no, wait, I'm running out of video. So thank you for joining me, and I will see everybody in the next one.